Okay, welcome back to Inklings Behind the Scenes. This is J.S. Bray with Mr. Bray Labs. This is a little different episode. It's a driving episode. I am driving my car, picking up some snacks with the fam. I know. Why would I do this? Why not dedicate time to do this? Well, because this is real life. This is where creativity happens. And part of what creativity happens is on the go. Um, so, one of the things I want to talk about, in particular to the Inklings Behind the Scenes, is when it comes to developing story ideas. Uh, an interesting post I read today. A screenwriter named David Santo. He said he had this silly story about this person thinking that they got their idea stolen from them, and it was like a buddy cop story. And I always find it somewhat humorous when an idea is plagiarized or believed to be plagiarized. Ideas are not easily stolen, but they are stolen at times. There are times that people take your idea and they appropriate it to themselves. They don't give you credit, and they do whatever they want with it. But ultimately, most of the time, they're not credited. And so that's not always a worry for me if someone's going to take my idea and play off of it. The worry for me is when takes my idea, my expression in the idea, and then they profit off of it. So that's something that comes with like intellectual properties. It's just something that's so complicated. Almost wish there was a time where that didn't occur, but it does occur, and it's part of life. So, when that said, when I develop an idea, it's always a bunch of ideas, and I think that's why it's important. If you're going to write, you need to read. If you're going to create cinema, you need to consume cinema, which is it somewhat gives people who began a life of cinematography early a less of an advantage of those who've lived longer because we have more a catalog of stories to consume. But taste is something that is not something. How to put it? Your taste is developed over time. Some people have inherently, I'd say, more refined taste, but ultimately, taste is something that you've been exposed to, you have preference for. For example, my brother, he is a musician, and I'm also a musician, but when he first started playing music, he was into these really kind of 90s post grunge kind of rock bands. And over the years, his music has drastically changed, but mostly drastically refined. I mean, as I listen to his music 20 years in the making, or just about, I just hear an artist who's just improved and improved and improved and improved. And he still plays music that sounds like it belongs in the 90s. He still plays music with that same sort of kind of angsty, grudge, edgy kind of feel. And I love it. I love his music, but I also know that he's never really outgrown his particular taste. Even when he throws country in there and other kind of bluesy and folksy stuff, he still kind of has his roots. And so sometimes taste is rooted in that experience, that first initial experience. Other times, taste is something that refines and changes over time. So, like for example, the stuff of music that I really enjoy, that music, um, gosh, I really like music that's melodic and that has like lots of catchy little riffs or lines to it, but it doesn't have to be country or blues or folk or jazz or rock or anything. There are a few genres of music that I have kind of I'm very somewhat discriminative towards, but overall, like good pop classical music or pop baroque style music or pop indie music or any of those things like that. All music has sort of an equal sort of possibility to please me. I have my favorites, which is indie pop, folk, and more folk on the side of alt country. I love those styles of music, but those are particularly like those are the places that where I really enjoyed music growing up as a kid. My mom listened to folk music. My mom listened to pop music, and my grandfather, he was a jazz musician. So anyways, when you're developing these ideas, music is a bit of it's a melting pot of many different ideas. So you cannot necessarily bifurcate all of your influences, like this influence came from here, this influence came from here. You cannot give a bibliography to every single idea. However, if it is a truly novel idea, it is of the artist's personal point of integrity to say, hey, this came from such and such. This originated from this artist. I think that is ultimately the scare of AI. The scare of AI is that AI could truly innovate better than an artist, which would mean that the artist is not very much an innovator at all. So perhaps the question is, we are afraid of AI because AI can steal more freely and more honestly than an artist. Thank you for listening. I hope you please just like and subscribe. You're continuing to grow this platform, and I appreciate the heck out of you. And have a blessed evening.